Hey. Let's just do one goddamn bicep curl. Here we go. Hello. Welcome back to the plumberparts.co.uk plumbing YouTube channel. What is this? Video 5, I think, from my lovely bathroom. That usually would get finished in about a week, but because I'm filming it and doing loads of other work at the same time, it's taking a little bit longer. Today, what we're going to do in this video is there's 2 radiator pipes behind me, and we're going to be moving them to the right correct position, the first fixed position for this radiator that's just there, but it's actually going to be hung on the wall just here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to figure out where the radiator is going to be hung. Because I'm not going to do loads of work on this wall itself, it's just going to get painted. I'm going to hang the radiator, then we're going to get our first fixed pipes in the right position, drain the system down, connect them to where the old pipes were, and then we can turn the 2 valves off, remove the radiator, ready for when we put the new floor in, and also decorate the wall. So it's going to be a great video, guys. One of the best. I really do think so. All the tools that I use in this video you'll be able to find on our Amazon store as well. Anyway, let's get on with the video, guys. And remember, there's one thing you've got to do. That's hold tight. Let's do this. To learn more about the plumbing in your home, then visit the Plumber Parts Interactive House, links below. Also, see if you can find my putty cat. Right then, so I know that the vanity unit is coming up to this line here, but I also know that I want my radiator to go central between the vanity unit and the frame of the door. Now, one thing I have done is I've just made a little mark up here because I'm predicting that there's going to be a little bit of architrave on there, and really I want the radiator to be central between the edge of the architrave and the edge of that vanity unit. Little toy, I've got myself the Bosch Professional GCL 250G. Oh, the G stands for green, which unfortunately for me, I'm red-green colourblind, which means unfortunately I'm never going to get my night rating as a pilot. I can't really tell the difference, that's all I'm saying. So obviously we've got our horizontal, we've got our vertical, we've then got plumb lines, which you can't actually see, but it's like, there you go, there's a little plumb line there, and that goes to the bottom as well. And then also if I press this, we've got crossover and plumb lines, the whole thing. So I'm going to be using that today just to get this where I need it. So number 1, and in the same vein that I usually do this sort of thing, if we can hold back draining the heating system down and having disruption to the rest of the house that I'm in, or the house that you might be working in, or your own home, then that's good, isn't it? Because that's going to keep you on the straight and narrow when it comes to your missus or whatever it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this marked out and hung first. Now remember what I said, I'm going to hang this radiator, but then we're going to take it off again because we need to decorate the walls after other work has been done. Now sometimes you won't be able to do that, and you'll need to read the radiator instructions very carefully to know exactly where you're going. Guys, I've been doing some work at the studio as well with this. I've had to lay a gantry out over 4 rails, all of them had to be horizontal, hanging off stud work across 11 metres by about 6 metres. That's the whole of the studio that I've got, and I use this to do it, so I'm very, very impressed with this beast. Right, so I'm going to measure this line now is the edge of where the vanity unit's going to be. We've got a line there that's the edge of our architrave, so I'm just going to measure that up to there. So that's 715, and like, I'd love to do it in my head, but I just want to make sure I get it right. I'm not mental. 3, 5, 7. I love the way, so it's got a bit of a tolerance in it. So look, if I've got this like that and it's on a floor that's a little bit on the wee-wees, look, it can take it to about there. That's quite a big difference. So then it goes, it's like, I'm not happy. Just want to make you all aware here that my old apprentice used to sharpen his pencil, drawing the Stanley knife towards his hand, until I pointed out to him the obvious reason as to why that's not a good idea. And also, I do see the irony of using my spirit level as a straight edge for a laser plumb line, but you know, technology, yes. And look, that's going to look really nice. Tell you what, this radiator I got from Trade Radiators, and I love their stuff. I've used them for years. You guys, long-time Plumber Parts fans, will know that I know Nick really, really well at Trade Radiators. He's a good friend of mine. We got very drunk together in Copenhagen, where, and this is a little bit of an anecdote for you, we were in Copenhagen where you can still smoke in pubs, but only if the pub's floor space is up to a certain square footage, I believe. So we've got the radiator out here. Now our brackets are on there like so, very, very simple. And the bracket layout for this is super easy. I really like the brackets for these. Individually wrapped and packed up as well. Oh my God. These will just slot in at the bottom. So you've got to get those straights and angles really good. When it comes to the height of your radiator, I kind of had a standard sort of height that I go for, but you know, it's up to you really. I mean, I would always look at somewhere in the region of about the bottom of the radiator wants to be about 30 mil. So if we go on 30 mil like that, it'll be nice and high, and we can go, oh, look, radiator's up there on the wall. But that also gives us quite a lot of nice clearance for the valves that we're going to put on this radiator, and I'm going to be doing another video on this soon. They're not 100% self-balancing, but they make the balancing of a heating system a lot easier. So these are Danfoss radiator valves that I'm going to be putting on here, but because I'm getting this one done today, I'm going to show you the installation of these and how this works, because we do it with a special calculation app to make sure that we get an accurate balance, which also means that we get a good return temperature back to the boiler, and that means it condenses more, is more efficient, that sort of thing. So I'll be doing that in another video. So if you haven't subscribed, hit that button, all right? So measure up from the bottom, make my mark 30. Yes, I realise I could use the horizontal plumb line here, guys, but the problem is that I haven't got the little tripod yet to raise up my laser level. That's in the post. I've just bought a standard little camera tripod for that. Nice and easy. Just so you know, the line that I'm marking there is the line of the bottom of the radiator. So from here, what I would do is I'd measure from the bottom of the radiator, which is just down here, to the bottom of our bracket where it goes in, which is just like that, okay? That distance is 150 mil. And then I can just measure from this one here to the bottom here, and that is 1170. Now I can look at this, and it's going to give me the widths on these already as well. So that is 355, but we're just going to make sure 355, exactly bang on. Okay, great. So now we've got our measurements for that. So go up from here, that's 150, and then it was 1170 to the top bracket. 1170 to the top bracket, and then it's 355. 355 divided by 2 is 177. I'll just check that as well, make sure that's good. Yep. Then I can just ping that line up. Now I just drag my horizontal lines over as well at the top and at the bottom. Effectively, I'm just going to overlay the markings that you should roughly have. Now, because I'm painting this wall, I am going to put longer lines on this, but usually if this was going to go on a painted wall, all my marks would be tiny and you really wouldn't be able to see them unless you're actually looking for them. Anyway, once I've got them in, drill my holes, get the brackets on, make sure the brackets are nice and level with the spirit level, just to make sure. Just do this again and again and again, guys, to make sure that you're getting this right, and then you can hang the radiator on and get a beautiful level radiator that's just like this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my radiator valves, I'm going to attach them to the bottom of the radiator. We're just going to do this bit lightly, because what we're going to do is we are going to lift the radiator off out of the way, but we're going to leave the valves and the pipework sticking up, ready in the proper position for when we put the floor down. But we're doing all this stuff now because it reduces the amount of disruption to the heating system, because the drain down and the connection is the last bit we do rather than the first bit, because usually you drain down, then you cut into the pipe, then you'd be hanging this and all that sort of stuff, and I just think it's a bit daft sometimes. Daft, I tell them. Those of you learned plumber parts, old school plumber parts fans will know that I'm a Loctite boy when it comes to doing this sort of work. Always get me Loctite on there. I know it spreads out a little bit, but this stuff never leaks. You just sort of wrap it around onto your threads, but then make sure you cross the threads over as well, so you don't just leave it laying in the bottom of the thread. Nice thing about the Danfosses as well, they always leave a nice little rollover nick on their threads. So bung that on there and then loosely put the radiator valve on. Do the other side as well. I mean, the spigots are going to stay in, but the radiator valves will come off the bottom of the radiator and stay in position when we're finished. Got the old fan on now as well, guys, just because, well, it's just because it's a good idea. Get my two little hombres out, the beasts of Bodmin. I think a lot of you guys and girls will be pleased to know that I specifically shaved my bum crack before we filmed this video. Usually it's incredibly hairy, has little bits of food in it, that sort of thing, cat fur. It's really important that I do that. Anyway, I'm just whipping up the floorboards on the bits that I actually want to run over to, and then we can have a little bit of a look at the pipework underneath and hope that it's all okay. Right then guys, so there we go, that's the sort of situation we're in now. Okay, so we know already these are the hot and the cold pipes, but you can see these two here are our flow and return. This is our flow pipe and this is our return pipe. So what we're going to do, we're going to tee off here for our flow up to there, and we're also going to tee off here for our return up to there. The reason we're teeing off is because these two pipes actually run round, can go downstairs, and they're going to feed the downstairs loo radiator that's going to be in a completely different plumber parts series. They also feed the radiator in the kitchen, and I think that's it. So we'll still have my rule of 3 radiators on one bit of 15 mil, so I'm not breaking that law. So there's 2 different ways we can do this. We can get a drill, we can drill a hole straight through down there, or we can notch and dive under here. I'm going to notch and dive. I'll do the same for that there. Now remember what I said. We haven't turned the water off yet. We've done no draining down. We've done nothing. I can almost do the whole job without having to do that yet. So that's what I'm getting to now. So let's get a little bit of floory chiz done. See that? How I use my laser there to make sure I get my notch in exactly the right place. I've got to get some new blades actually for this beast. I've hit a couple of nails and I think some mortar while I was doing another job. Anyway, so I'm going to get my bender out, get as many bends on this as possible. There's a 90 there. Then I've got a set that I put on to dive down below those pipes. And then I can just lay that in there and just cut it so it's still sticking over the pipe that I'm going to put it into, but it's ready for the final connection once the system is drained down. Cut my finger. Little bit of toilet roll, just so you know. Bit of gaffer tape, you'll be alright. Wow, who knew living life could actually be part, you know, maybe taking a risk once in a while. How about that? Right, so I've got this one in already. This one here is the one that I'll show you what I'm doing on. Got a piece of quap here. This is all very simple stuff. Pull that down there. Look. I want about 11 inches before the bottom curve of my bend. It's actually going to be a bit less than that, but I can't add pipe on, can I? Once I've done my bend, I can only cut it off. I can add it on if I want to put a fit in there, but we don't do that. So, in it goes. Got my mark here, which I know you're going to struggle to see, but you know, I've done loads of videos on how to bend pipe. Mark goes at the bottom, so the mark now correlates to where that is. Pop that in, and now we put a 90. Here we go. Oh baby, oh baby. Oh. Right, I want my next 45 set down there. So we're just going to put a little set in. Where's my mark? So there's my mark there. I want to bend it down first. So I'm popping it in just like that. And that mark is the denotation line at the side of my timber. I have no idea what I'm saying, if it makes any sense at all. It's just what it's like. Straighten that up, pull. You're going to go 45 degrees down. So I'm going to go too far. Guys, I know you've seen me bend loads of copper pipe in the past before, but if you want us to revisit this subject, do an updated video, then comment below and I can do a series of bends on there for you if you wanna. And now I'm just going to cut it, so it's just going to lay in there where I need it. And we are now at the stage, guys, we're actually at the stage of draining down. So there we go, see where we are there? It slots down nicely. Look at the dink there, I must have dinked that pipe. Right, okay, so that's in now. So the next job is to drain everything out of the system. Well, just the top floor I should only need to drain out. So let's go and get that done now. Let's go. So everyone's system is different, obviously. And my tank lives up here in the loft. One-handed loft ladder stuff going on now. What's this? Oh. Said to you for the video, behave. Right, so the first thing you do is isolate electrically the heating system. You guys know that already. And that's that. Now, because I've got quite a large tank here, I've got a chlorifier here. There's a lot of water in this, so I'm going to isolate the whole of that tank from the coil. So this is my coil in and that's the coil out. They're now switched off, which means I shouldn't have to drain out as much water. Come down now, there's quite a lot of copper up here still laying about. Probably a good beer's worth when the pubs reopen, if they ever open and if they'll let me in, which would be nice. Right, so now I'm just going to go and find the lowest point in the system, or the lowest point here on the system. You guys already know what it is. Well, actually some of you probably don't. Maybe some of you are new to this whole plumber parts malarkey. But it's that radiator just there. So I'm just going to go and get my ears pounded now and get that draining down. Usually this will leak a little bit, this one for some reason. Likes a little bit of a moan. Sex jokes in the comments fully appreciated for this particular part of the video. Right, so should be able to go outside. I found that we got some water coming out. Yeah. Okay, great. So drain down's happening. All I need to do now is vent out the radiators that I'm letting water out of, and we're all good. Right, just had a quick cup of tea. Everything's drained down. Alright. I proved that actually by whipping the valve off that, and I've opened that up. Nothing's coming out, so we're all good to go. The next stage, which is just getting these soldered in nicely. You can't see it. So under there, getting that all soldered in. Just make sure you get a bit of jointing compound and joint up each one of those olives before you do the full job. The good thing about jointing compound is obviously it makes you have a better joint, but it also allows the olive and the nut to slip nicely, meaning you can get it a little bit tighter. We cut the pipe. As you can see, we've got a little bit of water laying in that horizontal run. Pop a towel down there, and this is actually the lovely white towel that Emily donated to me for my soldering bag. So I like getting that wet first because I use a wet rag to cool off the joint and clean it. Whack as much solder on as you like. There's no, oh, this is going to be the best looking solder ever here. We just don't want it to leak. I don't care if there's a blob underneath. We're just going to get this one cut as well and swung across a bit. As you can see, I'm trying to miss that coupling there as well. Yet again, a little bit of water in it, nice wet rag, lovely jubbly. And this is where those cutters come in really nicely as well, and also the fluctuator just makes life so much easier when it comes to doing the job, keeps your tool bag so clean. And then my lovely, beautiful heat mat. If anyone's got a better idea for a heat mat, let me know. I'm desperate for a new one. Right then, so, oh, I know there's bits of wood on there, but there we go. We've got our pipes in here now. It's a little bit higgledy-piggledy under here, but that's kind of how it is. But there are our pipes now going up to our radiator. I've been around and put in all the vents, so now all I've got to do is reverse what I did earlier. So start filling the system up, get everything vented out, make sure everything works. That radiator, I'm not going to open the valves on that. I'm going to slack them off at the bottom and then whip that radiator off. So I'm just going to fill the system up to about 1.5 bars, and then I've got half a bar on top that I'll use as my venting bar. So we've got air coming out of the automatic air vent now, just up here. We're gathering pressure down here, you probably can't see it very well, but all good. So I'm going to nip downstairs now and make sure we've got no leaks. Seem all good, and I'll just pop these two blanks on. One blank there, one blank there, but they're good. So there's no radiator going there. The radiator's obviously coming from here and now going up on there. This should lift off now quite nicely. And there we go. First fix done. And if you want proof that this is actually on, this is risky. And there's some water. Now I know that these are exactly where they need to come up. If you want, you can pop a couple of these on. These are just little vents that I've kind of made up. They're quite handy to put on radiators in this sort of situation, because if you need to do any draining down again while you're doing any work, they're actually there already. But also they obviously stop leaks if you knock the radiator valve whilst you're working on the rest of the job. So then everyone, the first fix for everything is now pretty much done when it comes to the floor. So I am going to get the floor down and I'm going to just do the floor and the walls in the next video. You can watch that. But we've got our radiator pipes down there now. We've got our pipes up for our basin. We've got our pipes up for our bath, and our wastes are all in. The one thing I might have to do is, if I'm going to put a bidet in here, I'll just need to get the hot and cold up for that. So I'll just pop them up here and that'll be all ready to go. But other than that, we're all done with. I mean, it's going to hopefully fly soon, which might help my marriage a bit. There we go. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video, guys. I know it's a bit of an over the shoulder one, boy. But hopefully you've learnt a little bit from it. You've seen how we do it. There's loads of different ways. I could have done that little bit in plastic, couldn't I, if I wanted? It wouldn't have been as good though. All right, let's just agree with that. But yeah, so everything's running now. The heating's back on. The radiators are warming up. It's probably going to be a little bit more jockeying around of heat, which means going up there a few more times. My favourite place. But there we go. So see you in next week's video, guys. I think, when have we got our next tool review video coming out? That'll be soon. It's on a Wednesday anyway, tool review videos. So if you haven't hit subscribe, by all means do. And I'll see you in the next video. Remember to hold tight. See you soon. Do you want the bathroom done, George, so I can put you in the bath? Can you please stop waking me up at 4 in the bloody morning as well by sitting on my head and sniffing my nose? Yes!